Hello, welcome back to these slowed down version of all of my tutorials, and today we're going to be crocheting a granny square heart. So you're going to need two different color yarns for this. You're going to need a red and a white, or whatever color you want to use for the heart and the outside of your square. And you're also going to need a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, or the recommended hook size for your yarn, also a pair of scissors and a yarn needle. We're going to begin by making a magic circle, and I have several tutorials on making magic circles, so if this is a hard step for you, just go visit my tutorials. I will leave them in the cards above also so that you have that. Insert your hook into the magic circle, and you're going to begin by chaining 3. Now, if you don't want to weave in your first tail, you can just simply crochet over top of it, which is what I normally do. And then we're going to begin by making 2 double crochets in your magic circle. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2 again. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through 1, pull through 2, pull through 2. And that is how you make a double crochet. Then you're going to chain 2, and now you're going to make 3 double crochet. So you're basically starting out with a basic granny square center. So after you make your 3 double crochets, you're going to proceed to chain 2 and make another 3 double crochets. And then after your last cluster of 3 double crochets, you are going to chain 2 and slip stitch to the top of your chain 3. You're also going to pull your tail tight so it closes up that hole, and that is how a magic circle works, unlike a slip knot where you can't tighten it after you finish. Now you have your slip stitch inside your chain 3 right now, but we want to move over 1 stitch. So you're going to slip stitch into your first double crochet. Just make a basic slip stitch, and then you are going to chain 1. And then in your first corner space, so the chain 2 space from the previous round, you're going to make a cluster of 8 double crochets. And this might be hard to keep track of, so after you finish a double crochet, maybe just mark a tally on a sheet of paper to make it easier. I know for myself it's really hard to keep track of stitches, and if you're not good at counting them, like after you make them, make sure you just keep track somehow. Next, you're going to move to your corner space, so the chain 2 space or next chain 2 space, and make 1 single crochet. And like I said, I have tutorials for all of this stuff over on my page if you don't know how to do it. Next, you're going to move over to your center double crochet, so count 1 double crochet and move over 1. And then you're going to place 2 single crochets into that space, so 2 in the exact same space. Then you are going to chain 1 and put 2 more single crochets inside that very same space, the same space you just put the other 2 single crochets in. So now you have a total of 4 single crochets inside that 1 space. Next, you're going to chain 1, and you'll notice you have 2 corner spaces left. So in that very first corner space, you're going to put 1 single crochet, and then you're going to chain 1 to get to your next corner space or your last corner space, and you're going to make 8 double crochets in that final corner space. So now you can see your heart has taken shape a lot. And then after you finish your 8 double crochets, you are going to slip stitch down to the center of your heart, so the very beginning point. So remember what we did, the magic circle, you're just going to take your crochet hook, stick it through that magic circle and make a slip stitch, and that's what closes it off. Now there are several ways you can do this. I just like to do it this way. Make sure you chain 1 before you slip stitch into your center. This makes it look a lot cleaner, and you won't have it stretching or tightening in places. Just make sure you don't put your slip stitch too tight. For the next step, we are going to be using our white yarn or whatever color you're using for the background, so you can cut your red yarn, leaving a tail for a weaving end. It's important to leave a long tail just in case you need to weave it in, but like I said, I also like to crochet over my tails, which is something you can definitely do with this pattern. So you're gonna take your white yarn and make a slip knot, and after you make that slip knot, you're just gonna place it on your hook, and you're gonna make a slip stitch to the very bottom of your heart, to the bottom stitch, which should be a single crochet. And you're just gonna insert your hook in there and make a slip stitch, which is very simple, I feel, in adding this square to your heart. This is the easiest way I found to add squares to your shapes. So we're gonna begin by making a single crochet in that first stitch. And like I said, again, I will leave a card above for tutorials on stitches. And you're gonna make a half double crochet in the next, and then a double crochet in the stitch after that, then a treble crochet, which if you've never heard of before is actually quite fun. I enjoy making treble crochet stitches. They work up very quickly, but anyway, you need to put a treble crochet in the next stitch, and then you are going to chain 2 and make 1 double crochet in the next stitch. So usually when you make chain spaces like this, you're gonna be skipping stitches. With this, you are not skipping over any stitches. So chain 2 and make a double crochet in that next stitch. So the stitch right after your treble crochet stitch. Then you're going to make a half double crochet stitch, and then we are going to put 1 single crochet in the next 4, and that is pretty self-explanatory. So in the next 4 stitches that you have on your heart, you're just gonna put 1 single crochet in each of those spaces. After your single crochets, you're gonna chain 2 and make another 1 single crochet in the next 4. Again, like I said, when you make these chain spaces, don't skip over any stitches. You're just gonna keep going with the stitches. So after your single crochet, you're just gonna go into the next stitch and make 4 more single crochets. Then you are going to make a double crochet in the center of the heart. So the same place that we made the slip stitch on the second round, so the very center, the beginning, you're just gonna make a double crochet right through there. Make sure you leave it loose so that it's not pulling your heart and making it look odd. Then you're going to put 1 single crochet in the next 4 again, and then you're gonna chain 2 and make 1 single crochet in the next 4. So you're gonna make 1 single crochet in the next 4, chain 2, and make another 1 single crochet in the next 4, and then I will catch you up after you finish that. Now over the last stitches, you're gonna make 1 half double crochet, 1 double crochet, then you're gonna chain 2, make 1 treble crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 half double, and then 1 single. I hope you have a notebook to write these down, or just go back when you're ready to repeat these, and then you're gonna slip stitch to your first stitch. So 1 half double, 1 double, chain 2, 1 treble, 1 double, 1 half double, 1 single crochet, then slip stitch to your first stitch. I know that is a lot of directions, but you're really just repeating the same thing that you did on the other side, just mirrored, so backwards. Now you're going to start this next round by making a chain 3, and you're going to make 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Now we are moving into more of a repetitive stitch pattern This pattern for the next couple rounds is going to be much easier than the patterns you've been doing because now we are just making our square larger. So chain 3 and then put 2 double crochets in that very same stitch. Now your corner spaces, when I say make this in the corner spaces, your corner spaces are going to be the ones that you chained 2 on your last round. So any chain 2 space is going to be a corner. So in your next corner, you're going to make 3 doubles, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets. And this is how we're making the square bigger. You're adding onto the corners, and you're also adding stitch clusters in between the corners. So you're going to make your 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles in that corner, and then you're going to count out 3 stitches, and you're going to skip over the next 3. And then in the 4th space, you're gonna make 3 double crochets. This is a middle cluster space, so that is why we are not doubling the stitches. You're only gonna double the stitch count in the corners. So make your 3 doubles, and then we are gonna move right to our corner space, chain 1 to get to your next corner space. And then in that corner space, you're gonna do the same thing we did for the other one, chain 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles, and then after you do your corner space, you're going to chain 1 to get to your middle space, and this is going to be repeated all the way around. So after you do your middle space, chain 1 to get to your next corner, do your corner space, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Then at the end of the round, you are going to slip stitch to your first stitch, but like I said, repeat the stitch pattern all the way around. And if you have any basic knowledge of granny squares, you know what I'm getting at here. It's pretty simple, but if you do not, again, I have tutorials on granny squares, which you can learn pretty quickly. Granny squares are very simple for beginners or advanced crocheters. Whatever level crocheter you are, granny squares are not that hard. So again, leaving it in the cards above for you. But anyway, the next couple rounds, which I'm going to show you here, are just going to be granny square rounds. So I'm going to explain that very quickly. In the chain 1 spaces, you're just going to put 3 double crochets. And in every corner, you're going to make 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And you're going to chain 1. After you finish like the middle spaces, you're going to chain 1 to get to your next space. And what I love most about granny squares is you can continue doing the same pattern over and over again to make your granny square larger. And let me explain what this does. So you're increasing in the corners, so it's going to add new middle stitches each round. So you're going to have to add more stitches on the ends, so on the middle spaces. So this round had 1 middle space. The next one you're gonna have to make 2 middle spaces since you have 2 chain 1s beside your middle stitch, if that makes sense. And this is just going to be repeated all the way around. So I'm going to let this play through so you guys can get a visual learning tool or whatever to see what I'm doing. And then that is the end of the tutorial. So if you want to go ahead and make it as large as you want or make more squares and turn them into a blanket, you can go ahead and do that. This is definitely one of my favorite granny squares to make. It still is to this day one of my favorites. I just love that heart shape in the middle, and it really isn't that hard to make. I mean, it might look more advanced, but it really is simple. So I'm going to let you guys finish off your granny squares, and then I will see you at the end of the video. You all enjoyed this tutorial. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.